So let's start with Venezuela. The New York Times is now reporting that Trump has been said to authorize CIA plans for covert action in Venezuela. Now, when I read this story, I thought to myself, didn't I read this story about 3 or 4 weeks ago? I think this is the exact story. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you remember it? I think this is the exact story that the New York Times or somebody else came out with about 4 weeks ago. We have Jason here who watches, this kind of stuff. Am I right in thinking that, Jason?
Just heard this. Not too long.
Right?
3 or 4 weeks ago or a month ago, something like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just heard.
There's nothing new here. So what exactly is the New York Times doing?
They're parroting what they were slipped from their unnamed source. Imagine that.
So what do you mean they were slipped from an unnamed source? What do you mean by that?
There's no way this is a leak. Like, we got to get this out because it's like atrocious what's happening. This is approved, in my opinion.
This is something that you're seeing the deep state in action. Somebody wants to make sure that this is circled around. So everybody's like, oh my gosh, what are we doing in Venezuela? What are we doing in Venezuela? We've already told you what we're doing in Venezuela. This is to secure the Western Hemisphere, to get China out of the Western Hemisphere. This has everything to do with that little training island that we told you about a year or two ago, where Hamas and Hezbollah are training people in Venezuela just off the coast. That's what this is about. This is to stop the infiltration of the Islamic radicals in cahoots with Maduro in Venezuela. That's what this is about. And the Chinese are an extra added benefit. Don't believe it's the drugs. I mean, if it was the drug thing, we would also be going after Mexico. I mean, not that doesn't play a role, but it's only part of the story, and we've told you that. And now, Trump authorizing plans for the CIA. Yeah, we know that. You said that to us long ago. Now, at the same time that is happening, there was a video that was released from the Democrats. Now, these are Democrats that are currently, in power, big-name Democrats. And listen to what they're telling the troops and intel officers. Listen to this.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I agree 100% with everything they just said. 100%. My question is, why are they saying it? What illegal orders? And why now? Are you telling me that all of the stuff with USAID, all of the stuff that was going on with the FBI, with our intelligence community, with Russia, all of that stuff was on the up and up? They had no concern about that. When Barack Obama was targeting U.S. citizens to be droned, U.S. citizens to be droned, they had no problem with it? And now all of a sudden, because of what? Venezuela? Now all of a sudden they have a problem. No, I don't think so. I think this is the beginning of a campaign. And again, all it does is sow seeds of doubt, not in the mind of the military, not in the mind of, well, maybe CIA, but I think CIA is off on their own territory anyway. This sows the seed of doubt in the mind of the average American. They're now sowing the seed saying Donald Trump is doing something unconstitutional with our military. What is it? Speak clearly. Don't say we're under pressure. Speak clearly. What exactly is he doing that is unconstitutional that they should disobey? I'd like to know what it is. Because all this is doing is undermining.
Is it Venezuela? Like, did they state,
No, they didn't say that.
It's just generalized advice. Whatever you do, don't that seems really sketchy. Because we were talking about this a little bit off the air, and that there's a version of that that's like treasonous, right? Like you're telling the military to not listen to the commander in chief. Now, I don't think that was the version of it that is treasonous. I think that was worded very carefully. And as you point out, I don't think anyone would disagree that if there's something blatantly illegal, you shouldn't be doing it. But I guess their idea is some of these, is it maybe Venezuela? Are they trying to encourage these people to not drone the ships? Like what's the ask here?
They didn't mention, I don't know. They're just sending out. That's why this seems so unbelievably calculated to cause chaos, because they're not sowing seeds in the doubt of the minds of the military. They are sowing the seeds of doubt in the mind of the U.S. public. This went out to everybody in the whole world. And what it is sending is a message to the whole world. Our president is so bad that we in Congress need to tell the military, do not obey him. Well, can you be specific? On what exactly? On what exactly? No, they can't be specific. If you could be specific, I would have no problem. If you came out with that message and you said, look, we just want to restate the policy of the United States. Whether the president is a Republican or a Democrat, you do not have to obey the commander in chief if he is asking for things that are unconstitutional. For instance, if he asks you to do X, Y, or Z. They're not just talking about as well as the military. What's intriguing to me is they're also including the CIA. Who in their right mind today thinks the CIA is under control? Who in their right mind thinks the CIA is actually living within the constitutional bounds? Because I don't. Do you? Do you know anybody who thinks that, left or right? Does anybody within the sound of my voice think that the CIA is actually contained and living in its own little space constitutionally where it should be? Does anyone actually believe that they answer to Congress? Because I don't. Do you, Stu? Do you, Jason?
I think the establishment of the CIA is actually anti-constitutional.
Yes.
To be perfectly honest, I don't think that an organization like the CIA can operate within the bounds of disclosure with, letting Congress know everything that they're doing. It can't operate that way. So I think all too many times they understand that and they just do whatever the heck they want to do.
It's all black ops. It's all black ops stuff. And, look at where was this message when we found out from, what was the guy who blew the whistle and went to Russia? What was his name?
Snowden.
Where was this message with Snowden? When that came out, hey, if you're in the NSA, you're in the CIA, you can't be doing this stuff. So blow the whistle. Where was that? Where has this message been when any of the whistleblowers have come out? Where is this with the whistleblowers that are coming out today about what the CIA has been doing, what the intelligence community has been involved in? Where was this message? This is not an honest message. That's the problem with this. This is not an honest message. This is part of color revolution. I'm convinced of it. This is just sow the seeds of doubt. Make sure that you are positioning the president as somebody who is so radical and so unconstitutional that they have to tell the military not to obey his orders without any specifics whatsoever. That's pretty remarkable. Because again, I don't have a problem with saying that. We're one of the only countries. You do not answer to the President of the United States. You do not answer to your general. You answer to the Constitution of the United States. That's absolutely true. So I have no problem with this message being taught. It should be taught by every single president. But it's not. They have seen so many abuses under their rule, and now all of a sudden, you get this? Where was this message when the president used the military as a prop behind him in the speech where it was blood red and Biden was saying, these are enemies of the state? You can't do that with the military. Where was this message from anyone? Hey, you cannot be used as a prop behind the president. You cannot do that. I didn't hear anybody saying that because they don't have a problem with it. If it's their side, they don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with it on both sides. I want the military and I want the military. Let me separate these. I want the military to know we have your back. If the president, any president, is ordering you to do things that are unconstitutional, do not do them. Do not do them. Blow the whistle, and the American people should have your back. I know I will have your back. To the intelligence community, you better stop doing what you're doing. Because I know the American people, and I don't know if you can be stopped, but I know the American people know that you're doing things that you should not be doing, and you've been doing them under every president for God only knows how long. Stop doing it, because if we ever get into the position where we can stop you, we will. And the American people will demand a trial for every single one of you that was breaking the Constitution. Don't care who ordered you to do it. It's your responsibility to say no. And you haven't. You haven't. Start saying no to any president, any boss, anybody who is telling you to violate the U.S. Constitution. Don't do it. Don't do it. But I don't think that's the reason why they're saying it.
No, and they know this because all of them are veterans of the military or the intelligence community. They know, and I've gone through these before, this is stating the obvious. This is already taught from the lowest enlistment ranks all the way up to the top, within, officer candidate school and within the military. There are procedures, if you ever have an unlawful order, how to, work through it and report it.
Stu, what do you think this is really about? What are they doing?
It feels like it's about politics, right? I mean, it feels like they are trying to build a case that the president is continually engaging in things that are illegal and unconstitutional. And like when you bring up color revolution, I think there's a political element to that, and I think so they may very well be related. But if you think about it might be about Venezuela, but I don't think the American people really care about that story. I mean, I don't know that that's necessarily healthy that we don't care about it. I think there are some real questions about how the process here and how all of this has gone down. But I almost feel like it's more related to something like, immigration enforcement, right, in the United States. And that's not, because we've talked about the military being involved in cracking down on cities and things of that nature where we've talked about the questions around them. There are legitimate questions about how much can be done in that realm. I wonder if they're trying to kind of set that precedent, this sort of tone that the president is engaging in these things, and slowly over time you can build to not only a political answer, but maybe the color revolution angle, and also the chaos in the streets angle. At some point, if you believe your president is doing unconstitutional things and forcing the military of the United States to engage in actions that are unconstitutional against the American people, Man, you're going to get a lot of people out in the streets for that one if this thing were to be successful. So I think that might be the path. Do you buy that?
Yeah, I do. I just think that it is. I think the main goal here is just to undermine credibility. Just undermine and tear us apart even more. Undermine credibility, sow the seeds of chaos once again.